The landscape of organizational change and change management has changed dramatically since I started working in the area over 20 years ago. In today's environment, it is a business necessity to enable change, and change management has become recognized as a leadership core competency. Yet the myths about organizational change and change management persist, and they are hurting your change efforts. So in today's video, I want to explore 4 of the most common myths about organizational change and change management, how they're impacting your change efforts, and what you can do about them to enable healthier and more sustainable change in your organization. If you are new to this channel, my name is Dr. Dawn Marie Turner. I'm a change leadership coach, trainer, author, creator of the Readiness Mindset, and president of Turner Change Management. I help CEOs and executives experiencing multiple simultaneous change to use a readiness mindset and science-based strategies to prevent resistance and grow a healthier and stronger organization because of change, with employees who aren't afraid of it and can help you achieve your goals. Myths are those widely held but largely false beliefs or ideas that we hold about an event, a situation, or even the world around us. What makes myths particularly dangerous is that they often influence our actions, our decisions, our thinking, and often unconsciously. Here are 4 myths that continue to pervade organizational change and can sabotage your change efforts. Myth number 1, we need to get buy-in. And once we have that buy-in, people are ready to implement those new activities and behaviors. Think about this for a minute. You just announced the new change initiative and your team expressed excitement. They were pleased. And you're pleased because you go, yes, I've got buy-in. We can proceed. And then it happens. All those people that express that buy-in are finding reasons as you begin to implement those changes why it won't work. They begin to question the need, can't find time, or don't follow through on the activities. They're left wondering, what happened? We had buy-in. Nothing happened. You did have buy-in. The problem is that buy-in is simply not enough. Buy-in is only the agreement of the idea about change. What you need is to go beyond buy-in and gain their commitment. Commitment is the willingness to take action. Commitment comes after buy-in, and it is our willingness to extend outside our comfort zone and make the decision to participate and take the actions needed to adopt those new activities and behaviors. So you need buy-in, that's the first step. But then, once you've gained that buy-in, you need to look to create the activities and engage the people to get their commitment to take action. Myth number 2, the belief that people are resistant to change and that your role as leader is to manage that resistance. We aren't. People aren't resistant to change. But we are hardwired to seek consistency and predictability and to stay in our comfort zone. Uncertainty, fear of the unknown are 2 of the most stressful things for all of us, even though we may have variations in our tolerance for uncertainty. And when anything comes that is different, unexpected, creates a level of uncertainty, or causes us to go outside of our comfort zone, we will react. And leaders who believe the myth that people are resistant to change are working with what I call a resistant mindset. And when you're working with that mindset, it's easy to misinterpret the normal human reaction for uncertainty as resistance. For example, you announce a change that you see as beneficial. You're talking about the benefits and all of the positive aspects. You expect your employees to be pleased, but instead, they question it. They talk about how it was done before and it didn't work the last time, or how it won't work. They question its value. When you define all of that normal response to their discomfort as resistance, then you've just created the resistance you will now have to manage. You can prevent resistance when you adopt a readiness mindset. When you start working with a readiness mindset, you focus on building readiness, and it sets you up for success because it is proactive and affirmative. I talk more about this resistance and the readiness mindset in another video, how to turn resistance to change into readiness. Check it out. Myth number 3, it's best not to communicate until all of the decisions have been made because you don't want to raise anxiety. The reality is just the opposite. If you don't want to raise anxiety, then you need to communicate early, actively, and frequently to help people get used to the idea of change. One of the things I mentioned earlier is that we are hardwired for predictability, for certainty. We like to know things are the way they are supposed to be. And for that reason, we are constantly and unconsciously assessing our environment that things are as they should be. And when we're not, or when they're not, we notice. If there are any inconsistencies in our environment that could potentially pose a threat or create some uncertainty, that we're going to notice, react, and judge those subtle shifts in our environment. In the absence of any real information from you, then when those patterns get shifted, maybe they notice you're not coming into the office as often as you were before, or your door is closed more often than it was previously, any of those kinds of shifts, then they're going to be questioning what's happening. In the absence of real information from you, they're going to create their story. They're going to look for ways to fill that information void with either real or imagined scenario. One of the things we know is that people will believe an unfounded rumor upon hearing it once, and will need to hear that same information from their manager or trusted source 6 times in 6 different ways. So the key, communicate actively to engage your team in the conversations about the change. Fill that void with whatever information that you can talk about. Build the trust, reduce the uncertainty, and the need for them to fill that void with inaccurate or unsubstantiated information. One more thing. I'm not suggesting that you violate confidentiality or you put your organization at some other type of risk. However, you need to recognize that in times of uncertainty, you are still communicating even when you officially say nothing. Myth number 4. When people are trained, they'll adopt the new activities and behaviors. The reality is, training is important, but not sufficient for change. Training will not lead to change by itself. When you expect your training to carry the load, to create the kind of changes that you want in your organization, you're usually left frustrated, disappointed when it fails to deliver, and it has cost so much money. A 2015 study found that in the United States, they were spending about $356 billion on training that wasn't getting a return on their investment. So what's the alternative? Well, you need to think about training differently when it comes to change. There are two things that are going to allow you to use training to enable those new activities and behaviors to stick in your organization. The first is to ensure that your people are prepared for the training. Now, I don't mean giving them the schedule and telling them what the training is about. I mean, even further back from that, they need to have an understanding of what the expectations is, why the change is needed, why they need this training, what new activities and behaviors and where it will fit within their current environment and what it means for them. And that needs to be done before they show up for training. The second thing that you need to do is after the training, you need to follow up, reinforce. We've all been in those situations where we've attended a fantastic training program. Then we go back to our regular jobs and it's lost and it's never applied. So to ensure that your change management plan has the reinforcement and the support in the work environment after the training to get those new activities stabilized and committed to being a habit and the normal way of working is key to allowing training to help you enable the kind of long-term sustainable changes you want in your organization. Uncovering some of these hidden biases, these myths and beliefs are going to help you discover what may be getting in the way, what may be holding you back from using change as a fundamental growth strategy to enable sustainable, active change in your organization. If you'd like more information about any of these myths, or you'd like to chat about how to change the way your organization engages and responds to change to create healthier, more sustainable change, click the link below and let's have a conversation. I can tell you more about our courses and even my private coaching. All right, that's it for now. I'll talk to you soon.